So today I'm here with Robert Palumbo, my dear true friend for the last 30 years. If it wasn't for Robert Palumbo, I don't even know if I would be in the professional beauty industry. And I gotta share that because it all started with Robert here, and he's been a true, genuine friend and a big supporter of me for the last 30 years. And I want to talk a little bit today and ask Robert, for those who don't know Robert, um, how did you get involved in the beauty industry?
Well, my mom was a hairdresser over 40 years, and so I was introduced to family. Had uncles that were barbers from Italy,
Wow.
and then I went to college, played a little football, studied a little. I knew that wasn't for
And you
me.
realized you wanted to be a hairdresser.
Hairdresser, yeah. I think the passion was there in my heart, and I used to look at people and I said, and as a young kid, 16, 17, in my mind, I said, wow, I would do their hair or I would redirect them in a new direction. I knew nothing about hair at the time, but I knew there was something inside of me.
So you had something that fueled the passion,
Yeah,
right?
it was there already. It was in my heart.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I know that you've been around a long time and worked with a lot of major companies and stuff. What was the highlight of your career back then that where you really understood like, hey, this is for me? Like,
Well, my first job was with Anthony Placido in Rutherford, and he was heavy into competitions. And he took me to the New York beauty show, and that was like, wow, the international beauty show. And then right there and then I said, well, I'm going to start doing shows. I'm going to get involved, and I start meeting a lot of new people in that industry. And 4 months into my career, only four, I won my first championship at a Miliani beauty show, and I took third place in a haircutting competition.
and didn't you? I mean, I remember you telling me that you were traveling back then around the world and stuff and entering like different like world competitions then.
Yeah, I was tutored by a gentleman, Giorgio Cifelli, that I met through Anthony Placido, and he was tutoring me, and I got a chance, New York, Chicago, San Francisco. We were doing this, we called it the circuit. We were traveling around, studying and doing hair competitions.
When did the Altieri's come into play?
Well, the Altieri's was the 1986 International Beauty Show when it was the show. And I met these guys from California. They were working for Matrix, that was the number one company at the time, and they were what they called platform artists. And I was in the hair competition that I took fifth in the world in hair cutting, and they approached me, and
Wow.
we became good friends. And they said to me, Robert, can you be there 6 in the morning for model call and bring your model? So I brought my model, and we stood in touch for years, and I
Wow.
traveled the whole world with him. I'm talking Japan, Italy, France, Germany, and 32 states in the United States.
Wow. I mean, that seems like a huge accomplishment and a really really thing to be proud of in the industry. And you think about how the industry has evolved so much over the last 4 decades. And in 2024, what keeps you inspired? Like, how do you reignite the fire? How do you reignite the passion that you had from 30, 40 years
Well, I'm
ago?
going to bump my hand right here. My good friend Pete
Ah, thank you, Rob.
keeps me going, and we talk hair all
I,
at a personal level. We do a lot of texting and stay inspired, and we know Pete and myself know a lot of the pioneers that are still active, still working, and it kind of fuels me. I said, well, if they could do it, I could do it.
you can still do it.
Still do it, and social media keeps you working.
You know, Rob, there's a lot of people that want like to thank you for your contribution for the education and everything that you've done for them. I know in the industry, it's all about you had a message back then, homegrown, where
Yeah,
you grow them here and then you set them free when they're ready to fly.
yeah, yeah. So I always kind of lucky. I had passionate people around me, and I would train them, call them homegrown, and develop into not regular hairdressers, champions. And then the champion, they want to flap their wings sometimes, and I always let them do it. Open their
Absolutely.
own salon, go work for major companies. We had people that you travel with, I travel with, that started here, and they worked for L'Oreal and with Andrew. You know,
Yeah, God
who
rest his soul,
got,
Andrew.
yeah, that,
If it wasn't for you introducing me to Artec and Andrew and stuff, I don't think I'd be in the professional beauty industry.
yeah,
And I got to say, it's been a beautiful blessing, and I love it myself. I love traveling. I love teaching. I love being able to connect with hairdressers that are involved in all different things, from styling to color to extensions to avant-garde styling. What do you think's attracting new hairdressers these days to get into the beauty industry? What do you think it is on Instagram or Pinterest or anything, Facebook, that's really making a young girl or a guy want to be able to say, I want to become a
I
hairstylist?
think definitely the new color techniques. You have to know the basic techniques, the foundation of coloring, and that, and then on social media, there's tons of different highlighting techniques, and also the hair extensions, the topper. The You probably could explain more about that. What's going on with hair extensions? That's Pete's forte. One of
Yeah,
them.
hair extensions have come such a long way. I tend to call it hair enhancement these days, because not everyone wants to say I'm wearing extensions. So it's more about enhancing the hair, being able to
Volume.
create volume and texture and create fullness and build somebody a new haircut. And now we talk about organic color. Organic color is the opportunity of taking three-dimensional different colors and placing them where you want to create the dimension that you want in real time. So it's something very unique to be able to cut and color simultaneously, when traditionally it's either one or the other. It's either you're coloring hair or you're cutting hair, right? But when
Correct.
you're doing hair extensions and you're placing that color where you want, you actually can place it and cut it at the same time. So I think that's a really unique thing that's going on right now, and it's growing rapidly. And a lot of people like to build looks from the ground up and create an entire new look for somebody.
Well, 2024, Pete and myself went to the hair show over in New York, and I think hair coloring and
And extensions
were the
was
main
on was
attraction.
was on every single aisle.
Yes, yeah, just about every aisle.
Yeah.
Um,
So there's a huge paradigm shift in the industry, and it's nice to be able to hear from somebody who's been in the business for 4 decades like yourself. And it's also good to see somebody like yourself that's still passionate about coming behind the chair and creating different work every day. And you approach it like it's a first time you're cutting hair. It's like,
well, Pete, I really love it. And getting back to the hair extension, also have to know how to blend them in with a razor, uh, slide cutting, and these are techniques I could share, within my salon and hairdressers all over the world.
well, listen, Rob, I want to thank you for your contribution, and I love you, man. Keep doing what
We're
you're
going to
doing.
keep on going. We're not going to
Absolutely.
stop.
God bless.
God bless. Thank you.